Welcome to Elevate, a Massage Heights podcast. This is Shane Evans, co-founder and president. Today, I'm in Morristown, New Jersey, joined by Dave Schauger and Dale Carmody, our strategic partners. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Welcome to Morristown.
Thank you for having us. It's been a crazy couple of hours. Today was the first time we have done a podcast for one in a retreat, so this is a new thing for us. And earlier today, getting to talk to your team members and get them on camera to talk about why they love the brand and why they love working with you guys so much. So thank you for arranging that.
Thank you as well.
Yeah,
and they really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you have a really, really great team, and it's evident that your values are really just kind of all over the place in here. I've said this a couple of times already today, but when I walked in, I really did feel something special, right? So I don't feel that in every single Massage Heights location, as I mentioned. They all look the same, really, right? Our build-outs are on point and at every single one of those locations, but the feeling isn't always there, and the feeling comes down to the people. So that's a testament to you guys.
Thank you. We're so proud, and we love watching the growth of the business as we open the doors, and our staff has continually grown, and we just feel really blessed that we have had this great opportunity so far.
Yeah, when we look back to where we were 2 years ago and where we are today, it's just amazing at how our staff has, grown and flourished. It's awesome.
Well, speaking of your staff, the last time I was here was a year and a half, 2 years ago, I guess. Probably a little too long. I'm sorry. But you have a lot of the same team members, and you have a lead massage therapist that's been here with you for a long time in Pete Buffino. I said that correctly, right?
Pete Buffano.
Buffano. And sorry, Pete. And you've got some others that started as lifestyle consultant that eventually got their massage therapy license.
Our lead skin therapist, Jen, joined us as well when we first opened, and she is now also an assistant retreat director. So she's been here from the beginning, and a few others as well.
Our second esthetician has been here from the beginning.
Yeah.
It was awesome to see, one of our lifestyle consultants continue on and become one of our therapists. It was great.
Yeah, well, you guys really are incredible, and I want to talk about that and really what it takes to create an amazing team that gives that feeling that they've all described of family and care for the guests and care for one another, and really how you guys are able to accomplish that. So I think that'll be where we start. All right, so let's just start with that. You were telling me earlier today about your recruiting process and more importantly, the sort of the interview process that you go through to ensure that each team member that you bring on is aligned with the culture here. So tell me a little bit about that.
So we make sure that they're touching on several different people in the retreat when they come in the first time. It's pretty much essential that Dave and I both speak to the candidate, as well as our retreat director and our assistant retreat director. And what we've found is that if any one of us has a feeling that something might not fit, even if the other three may feel it is a good fit, we really focus on that and try and figure out why is somebody feeling that way. And oftentimes we will turn down somebody, and when we haven't, it's come to be a reality that we probably should have followed our gut. So it's important for us to all be in a line and all be in agreement that it's a good candidate.
Yeah.
So if they go ahead.
No, I was going to say that we think a lot about the brand and the values. So when we're interviewing people, we spend time talking with them and trying to find out if their alignment is a good fit, because often you'll meet people and in some cases it's just, I want a job to work certain hours, I want to make a certain amount of money. We try to go deeper than that and really understand their core values and see if they'll be a good fit for us. And when we do spend that time with the individuals, we actually seek to find that out, and often we do, and we're capable of getting that before they even come in.
One thing that really resonates with candidates is when you talk about how we like to think that we're a family here, and how at a corporate level, down in San Antonio, you guys are like a big family, and it resonates down through the entire organization. That really seems to be important to all of the folks that are looking to come in, because I think they're missing that in other places. So it's important for us to highlight that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you talked about the core values and making sure that they're aligned. How do you do that? I know you're asking them questions and maybe circumstantial types of things. Are there some specific questions that you ask that could be helpful to our franchise community when they're maybe applying this?
Well, some of the questions that we ask are, trying to understand who they are and why do they go into this business. So that's question number one. A lot of times a really great therapist will say, I like working with people who are helping people and they're focused on wellness. We'll spend a little time up front talking about Massage Heights as a brand, so we set the tone for them. We talk about how Dale and I first met and how we're committed to this organization, but we ask them what do they want to accomplish by being here, what are their expectations by being here. And most people, when they're truly authentic, they'll reveal that right during the interview. It's very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can think of just the last interview that we did. The question was, what is it that you're looking from your future employer? And the person said, I just want to be respected. I haven't been respected in other positions that I've had. And
what did respect look like for them? Did they tell you?
I think just valuing their opinion when they had something to offer, that we would listen to them. And that's pretty much what was missing.
Yeah, some people actually say they're not even recognized. I'll give you an example that we'll have a day, someone will call out, and then we'll start to look at the schedule to see if we can move a guest to one other therapist. And some therapists will step up and say, I'd like to cover for that person for their shift. And when that happens, when you're starting to talk to the therapist, some places won't even say thank you for that. So they don't even get acknowledged the fact that they've gone out of their way to be really a superstar or a good team player.
Team player.
We do that. We want to make sure that we thank them for what they do and recognize their contribution.
So ultimately, does it get down to all four of you have to be in alignment on the hire, or do three trump one, or?
It did in the past, and I think we're now at a point where, we're all in alignment, and yeah.
Even when we're close, there are times where we're thinking someone's coming in, we think they might be pretty good, and often during an interview process, when we hesitate, we can sense it. We'll actually talk to someone and say, we're really looking for people that really will fit into our culture. And when people ask a question, it's like, tell me more about the culture, and they want to know, and they feel like they're a fit. You can sense that interaction. If they don't even nibble on it, it's pretty much a sign saying, I just want a job. So that's just one example of that.
So you have been super successful in a very short period of time with the introduction of HydraFacial. And you just launched it in May, late May, early June, right? And you had in July $5,000 in sales just on HydraFacial. And that's pretty substantial. It's and obviously more is better, and with time that will grow. But the investment in HydraFacial is a substantial investment, so we want to make sure it works. So you are doing some unique things that I think that only super engaged owner-operators will do to drive success. And with the HydraFacials specifically, tell me what you've done to help really elevate the sales in such a short period of time.
Sure. So we spent a lot of time with the HydraFacial team really talking about what made them successful at other locations when they launched their service. We also spent time with corporate asking questions about how should we go about selling this service, because it's not your traditional massage or facial, it's an elevated facial service. It's actually a lot more costly. So traditionally the price for a HydraFacial is $199.99. We offer members and an introductory rate for people to come in at $149.99. So automatically we're saying to guests as they come in, if you like the HydraFacial service, please join us or consider having your service done here on a monthly basis or a regular frequency. To get people in the door, HydraFacial recommends having an event. So even though we launched in May, we had our first event on July 10th. And that day, we knew that we wanted to have quite a bit of appointments. And what we did is we actually set up 18 appointments. There were 18 half-hour appointments. They were staggered. So it was like every 15 minutes we had a different guest coming in to have a service. But we actually brought people into this room, and you can't tell how this room is. This is the couple's room. And we actually had it set up really comfortably. We had the lights a little dimmer, and we had these kind of places for people to sit. We had fresh fruit, we had water, and we spent time with each guest. We actually referred to the guest as a VIP guest. So we treated them like VIPs. When they came out of their service, we spent a lot of time with them asking them how their service was. almost every single person said they loved it. They'd look in the mirror and they'd look at their face and said, I absolutely love it. And then we would pitch the membership approach, and also we had event packages. So we sold packages, and we have never sold packages before. So we sold about $5,000 worth of packages, and we also, in order to get people to come in for the day, we wanted them to be committed. We wanted them to say, I'm actually going to show up for that appointment. So we charged a $75 fee for them to come in for the day, which they could then take and apply towards a future service or towards a package.
And you charge them in advance?
In advance.
Just to ensure, okay.
Yes. And the no-show rate, we had every single person show up. And in that day, we spent enough time with each guest. So we, I'm probably sidetracking a little bit, but it's worth saying this, that when we spend time with our guests after they come out from a service, any service, and are able to connect with them and really talk about their service, the value of it, and why they might want to be a member, we really connect with people. So the same thing with HydraFacial. You're really talking about how great the service was, how they look, how they feel, and let's get them going on a regular basis. Yeah.
It was a really enjoyable day. I mean, the staff had a great time. All of our guests, just were complimenting on, how much they enjoyed the day, and it really was a nice event.
We have 2 more events coming up. We have one in September, more of a demonstration approach, and then we also have one, these are called signature events. We're also doing another signature event in October.
Great.
So we're going to keep doing these quarterly. It's a great way to bring new people in the door. Sometimes they're members, sometimes they're non-members, and sometimes they're people that have never been in the Massage Heights location.
And you were telling me about someone earlier who is just a huge advocate. Is this the writer? Or
Yes.
was this okay? And because I want to go into that too, as far as some of the unique grassroots types of things that you're doing. But what is she saying, and
Yeah, so
how has that been
interesting
helpful?
story. So this is really very personal, but my friend Allison Galen was at a friend's house, and she's swimming in the pool, and she swam up next to a person who's a member here and said, your face looks amazing. How does it look so great? And they said, I come to Massage Heights, I get a HydraFacial. Tell me about that service. Next thing you know, Allison is telling me she wants to come in. She's going on a book tour. She wants to look her best. And she comes in and has a HydraFacial, and now she's been on the book tour. People have complimented her appearance. We're having an event, a book signing event in September, where she's coming down to sign books. So she's open to saying, I'm a member, but I also love HydraFacial. And then we're going to offer another HydraFacial that day. And it's just a really nice connection from one individual, and that individual is actually sharing their experiences. And it's interesting, it's that effect that one person shares with another, and it becomes very local indeed, but certainly a lot of potential for business.
Morristown it's a little big city, I guess we'd say. It's not everybody knows everybody, but it just has a small town type of feel, and these grassroots efforts are really important for us. People get in, they may never have the opportunity to come in and see our spa, and they come in, they love it, and it's just it's a trickle effect. So.
Well, and I would imagine if she doesn't already have a following, she's going to have one once the book gets out, if it hasn't already.
Yeah, this is her 8th book
the
that she's
influence
published.
up.
Yeah, so she's substantial. And also, it's great for her to connect with people that maybe are readers or follow this style of writing. And also, they've never been here, or they've never even considered a massage. It's a different type of a client.
Yeah.
And it's a very different approach. And we're just excited. She's a friend. I'd like to promote her book. But at the same time, I love seeing that her face looks so great. I just saw her again last week, and I said, you're glowing. She goes, I just love this HydraFacial.
So what is that event going to look like for you guys? Because you're going to host it here, the book signing. So what have you imagined that yet? It's coming up. I'm guessing you have.
So they're going to be. We'll probably put our tent out in the brick piazza that you come into our spot in, and we'll be doing chair massages, and we'll have a table set up, where she can do her signing, and we'll be available to talk about what we have to offer as well.
Yeah. Is she going to promote that as well?
She will.
So promote it to your membership, and she'll promote it to her viewers? Okay.
So we currently have 3 events posted on Facebook. So there's Facebook events that are always out there. We also promote those events to lift them up a little bit. She'll also take it. Her publication company, so her publisher, may also push this out. So it's interesting when you really think about connections with people. and how when you're performing something or you're doing something, how do you connect with people? It is definitely a different avenue, and if you really think about the benefit on both sides, she might have people that follow her
Absolutely.
come here who've never seen massage heights,
Right.
and maybe they'll have a chair massage, maybe they'll just say, oh, I didn't realize this location was
Yes.
here.
Yep. Yep.
So it's a win-win.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you were telling me about another event that you're going to do, a yoga event.
Yeah, this Tuesday we're having a yoga event. So we are located in probably more non-traditional location than most Massage Heights places. We're not in a strip mall. We're actually in a walking town. So we actually have a large brick piazza, they call it, and outside we can put a tent. People actually move to different parts of town through the brick piazza. But we've got 3 different yoga instructors, one at 9, one at 10, and one at 11. The middle session is for moms and children. So our intent was really to get busy moms that have a lot of activities with their kids in the summer to come out and do a yoga class. And maybe one of the kids is on a mat right in front of them and they're getting a chair massage, watching their kids take a yoga class and thinking about wellness. So if you think about massage and you think about yoga, they are very similar businesses. In fact, there's an image that Massage Heights used, and we had it in our front. In the very beginning, it was a woman doing a tree pose by a waterfall. And almost every person I talk to that does yoga or Pilates or really is focused on wellness loves the image. And so our feeling is let's get some of these people that perform yoga, have a free class. That class actually, if we have any donations, we're going to give that to Family Promise, which is for homeless families in Morris County.
I love that.
So we try to do things in a compassionate way, and if you want to say philanthropic, we try to really focus on those types of things and make it a bigger event. It's not just a yoga class. It's not just chair massages. It serves multiple purposes.
Well, and we also were able to team up with Athleta, which is one of our neighbors here. They're going to be offering free mats to any of the participants, so you have that connection as well. So.
Yeah, and there's a location right next to us called the Salad House, and they make smoothies. So they're going to be coming out and having smoothies and fruit juices and health food basically out for the guests. So it's a nice kind of integrated approach to our business, I guess.
I love it. You've really connected the dots amongst the other businesses in this area with Massage Heights, and it is all about wellness and an integrated approach to wellness. And generally speaking, people who are focused on wellness are getting yoga and they're getting massage and they're drinking healthy shakes and all of those things. So why wouldn't you go out and do those things?
Yeah.
How much engagement as an owner does it take to be able to do those types of things? And so we have a lot of operators that throw money at things, right? And it's proven that really grassroots efforts are where it's at, right? Because you do make those connections in your town, in your city, in your community, and people care and want to do business with people who care about the community and people that they like, right? So, how important is the involvement of the strategic partner to be able to do something like what you're talking about effectively?
It's critical. I mean, it does take up a lot of time, but without it, we definitely wouldn't be where we are today.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it took us a while to maybe realize that. We focused on a lot of things at the beginning, and not necessarily that. Marketing and advertising was definitely an important thing, but that grassroots kind of approach was maybe secondary. And once we figured that out, it's opened up a lot of doors and a lot of opportunities, and it's made a huge difference. But yeah, it does take time.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of making contacts with people, that returning calls and back and forth, and to organize one event is, it's a lot of work.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it pays off.
Yeah, so when we first opened, we wanted to do a lot of broad marketing, so we sent out direct mail pieces. We actually had to tell people about the brand because Massage Heights didn't exist in New Jersey.
Right.
So, people are familiar with Massage Envy and Hand and Stone and some of the brands that are there before us. And when we came out, we really wanted to make a presence and let people know who we are and what we do and what we stand for. So with these events, I'll give you an example. We spent $5,000 on direct mail. We'll send mail out to people's homes. It's really broad, and a lot of people get the message, but the return on that might not have been as good as an event like this yoga event. This yoga event, so far, we're advertising. We're actually taking a Facebook or an Instagram post and we're boosting it. We're paying $2 a day. So other than having our tent and our staff here and spending a lot of time as an SP, really connecting with people and trying to get their engagement and involvement. So it's sweat off of our back as we do it, but the cost is really minimal, but the output and the result is really substantial. Yeah. So as Dale pointed out, if we really think about our efforts and our commitment to it, it's really important, and we're seeing the results from it. And there's one really interesting point, and I would like to share this with all the SPs that are out there. In massage, the very first thing that has to happen is a connection to the guest, but it's also trust. The second a therapist puts their hands on someone's back, the guest feels trust because they've actually automatically connected with that guest. So from that chair massage to that first appointment to their coming in, they know our names. They know who we are. We're real people. We're performing a service that they really need. And there's a connection, and that connection just stays. It's really great.
Yeah. What inspires you to get up every day and do those types of things? The harder things, which is the grassroots, the getting out in the community, the taking the time to make those phone calls. What is it? Because again, like I said, most will just, kind of throw money at digital or what have you. And it doesn't mean that you don't need that. An integrated approach to marketing is important, right? But the grassroots ultimately gets you the best results for the least amount of money, but it does take time. So what inspires you to get up and do it?
For me, we have such a great staff here that I feel like so much of what I get up for in the morning is to work with them and to work on all these different ideas with them and to keep them active and to keep them busy, every day of the week. And that's kind of what drives me is, I love our staff and our guests, but working with the same people every day like we do is just, it's great. And it's really important to me. And
a word that was used multiple times today was collaborative. That this is a very collaborative environment. That your staff feels like that you value what they say, and there's a lot of sharing. And it was not just here in this location, but even corporately and kind of throughout Massage Heights that they feel that collaboration. But specifically here, and that they really enjoy that aspect of it.
Last year at the convention, the theme was engagement. I came back and I was super excited after the convention, and I remember talking to Dale and saying, next year we're all going. And one of the things that's really important to share is that we're engaged. We're very engaged. Our staff is engaged. We also have fun when we're doing it. So when we're with our staff, we giggle, we laugh, we have a good time. They enjoy it. In fact, Dale and I had this thought before we opened the business. We have a lot of glass in our lobby, and we stood out in the street and we said, looking in the glass window, it's just a frame of a shell. It was just a building, and you noticed it too. And we thought the business that we wanted was when people look in, they want to go inside. When they're inside, they want to stay there and be there. And when they leave, they want to come back.
I love that.
So, we think about us, like we both really enjoy working together. I mean, there's times he's probably like, drives me nuts, and we get on each other's nerves because it's just such a busy day, a lot of things happen, but also we're so engaged and we really enjoy it. And I personally, when we're doing an event, I look at it as almost like if you're going to a cocktail party or you're going to socialize with friends, you're getting to meet new people and you're connecting with them, and you feel like tighter, you feel like you're part of a community, and you feel as if you're really satisfied from what you put into it to what you get back out of it.
Purpose.
Yeah, purpose is so important.
We've got so much to offer, and when you have a lot to offer, it's easy to go out and do these things and connect with people.
Yeah.
And
we even tell people during interviews, and this is a point that we talked about in the very beginning, when you ask a therapist, have you ever gone to an event where you do chair massages? Some therapists will say they hate it, they don't want to do it. Some therapists will say, I love it, I love being outside and being part of the community. When we go outside and we perform things with people, we're connecting to different individuals, but they can also, for the therapist perspective, they might be building a new case. So they're actually maybe not in the room itself, but they're actually connecting to guests. So it's really great.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've found that therapists generally do love that. But you've got to encourage them to do it, and you've got to want to do it as an operator yourself. What is the one thing that you guys feel like you are best at? Surprise question. I mean, it could be individually. It could be you as a management team, or it could be individually. How does the partnership work well because you're gonna.
Oh, so as far
Perhaps.
as the partnership goes, I mean, we joke about it all the time. Our strengths are completely different.
Complementary.
Yeah,
Collaborative again, right.
And oftentimes, like I was saying at lunch, if we have an issue, I could be here and he could be here, and usually we'll meet here. Sometimes, we go all the way to the opposite side, but generally we can get to a middle point, and it's just good because both of us are looking at it, from two different perspectives, and but the other thing that I was thinking about when you said what are we good at, I think we're good at managing our staff to the point where they like being here, and I think that's just so important. And we hear it, they love coming here, and I think that's one of our big strengths. Together.
Yeah, and even during the interview process, when we talk to different people, we tell them about the Massage Heights family. We actually talk about you. We'll talk about corporate and our experience with Massage Heights, as it's a very caring, nurturing environment. So when people come in, if they want to be part of a family and they want to be part of a group or an organization that really cares, and you're going to feel really, really good each day when you go to work and when you leave work. This is the place you want to work. So that's not evident in a lot of places. And if you don't mind me even going back a bit, even when both Dale and I, we both came from a corporate background, and we both worked for very large organizations, Fortune 500, very big places where you can get really lost in those big places. You can actually make a good income and be a fish in a really big ocean. It's just not it's not so warm all the time.
What was your last career?
So I worked in large pharma, but predominantly, yeah. So
IT, right?
Yeah, information technology, yeah.
Yep.
So big projects and programs.
And Dale?
And I was in pharma and healthcare as well. Towards the end in managed care, but again for large companies, I was in marketing and sales and did a lot of compensation development and that type of thing.
So why Massage Heights for you two?
So when
we asked this question to all your team members, by the way. It was why they choose to work at Massage Heights. So why did you choose Massage Heights?
So when we started the process of once we made a decision that we wanted to go down the route of a massage franchise, we split up the competitors, and Dave had maybe 5 and I had 5. And me being the spreadsheet person, I put spreadsheets together and the whole bit.
Due diligence.
Yep. But I had Massage Heights, and as soon as I got to the website, there was something about visually what I saw on the website, and it was the physical location that was represented at the time. And I think it was this obviously it was this build out. And then as we did some secret shopping, and we went down to Maryland to a Massage Heights that was there, and we both again were impressed with what we saw, from the owner, from the build out, it just had a great feeling, the linens, it was different, and even then we got the feedback about the family type of environment that was evident in Massage Heights. And quite frankly, we talked to some of the other competitors too, and we felt like we were a number. And we didn't feel that way with you guys when we were down in Texas. And it was an easy decision, quite honestly. And it happened fairly quickly. From when we started to do our exploring.
Yeah, we were really surprised. So we certainly looked at all the major players in the U.S. and Canada, and I had not heard of Massage Heights. And every time that Dale and I would get back together, we would gather information, so do our due diligence, and we'd compare notes. So there were a lot of categories that we were looking at. But one of them was the values and the culture of the business. That stood out. One of the things that we both recognized, the corporations that we both worked at, my role was moving to London, so I was offered a role there, and I didn't want to move. And I was talking to my family about, like, where should we go next? And one of the topics was, should we consider a franchise? And that's a big topic in itself. But when Dale and I, we'd spent a decent amount of time together, I think it was at Qdoba, and we had lunch and we started talking about the idea, the concept of going into this type of business. And then when we continued to research, Massage Heights just kept constantly elevating. I know we're using this word a lot,
Yeah.
but elevating. Yeah, and when it finally came to the forefront, it was really, I use the word a lot, a no-brainer. It really was really easy for us to make this decision, and we're really happy we did.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you did as well. Very, very, very glad. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to share anything that you want to share that I didn't ask you about that you think is important for our franchise community to know.
I always look for a nugget. I'm looking for a couple
Yes.
big nuggets, and the nuggets that stand out here are is that this model works. We just hit year 2. We're going into year 3. We're actually starting to skyrocket now, to the point where we started laughing recently, saying we finally got here. Now we wish that we would have it in month 3, but we didn't have it in month 3, and here it is month 27, and it's really taking off. And there are a lot of factors to that, but I think a lot of it is to the franchise Massage Heights, what you have to offer, and you can follow a proven approach, and you can also offer information to say, is there room for improvement? Can we modify this or change it? So it's a really good team. It's very supporting and helpful, and I'd have to say it's been a great experience. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys very much again for moving your treatment room all around, tables upside down and all around, and letting us kind of tear down the walls and take some of your great team members off the schedule to get some insights from them as well. And we're really appreciative. And again, I wanted to make sure that we got to come here and talk to you guys because I've always been super impressed.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
respect you immensely, and have felt that since the day that we met. And wish I could get up into your neck of the woods more often because you're
Come anytime.
You're always welcome.
you're great professionals. Amazing feedback always, and I really enjoy it. So thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, this concludes this episode of the Elevate podcast. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss future information. And if you'd like to hear from someone specifically on the podcast soon, please send us an email to communications@massageheights.com. Thank you, and as always, elevate the everyday.